election. It's just one of the big challenges he faces now, more revealed by our brand new poll. Political director Rick Klein here to break it down. And Rick, this poll is just brutal for President Biden.
Absolutely, George. And you talked earlier about that record low approval rating for President Biden. It's actually 6 points down just since February. And the skepticism over his leadership extends deep inside his own party. Only 36% of Democrats think that their party should nominate Joe Biden for a second term. 58% say they would support someone else or prefer someone else. That's despite the fact that the entire DNC and most of the Democratic establishment has rallied behind President Biden. And you're seeing real weaknesses in the coalition that powered Joe Biden to the presidency back in 2020. Biden carried independents by 13 points against Donald Trump. He is now trailing Trump by 9 points among those same voters. He carried black voters by 75 points in 2020. Now he is up just 35. That may sound like a lot, but the fact of the matter is, in modern politics, that is not the kind of number that a Democrat needs to be victorious. And then, of course, that does spill over into the head-to-head matchup, the hypothetical rematch, Trump versus Biden. Right now, a 7-point edge in our poll from in Trump leading Biden. And in fact, it's an identical number with Ron DeSantis in a head-to-head that might happen next November. That tells us at this very early stage, George, that this race is shaping up a lot more about the incumbent president, Joe Biden, than it is about any of his challengers.
And Rick, as I mentioned with Senator Langford, President Trump, at least right now, appears to be strengthening his hold on the his front-runner status for the Republican nomination.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've seen Donald Trump's numbers go up in the last couple of months across a range of polls, and most of the other candidates either going down or staying around the same. Ron DeSantis at 20%. Of course, that is not even half Trump's total right now. Everyone else in the single digits. That includes our ABC News contributor, Chris.
So, as you guys just saw there, they're in trouble. They are in trouble. Went from carrying black people by, 75 to now 35? You're in trouble. If you don't find a way to make sure those immigrants can vote your way, oh yeah, you better get out the way because it's going to be a landslide, okay? Steamroll coming through, baby. Steamroll coming through. Well, so I guess Joe Biden recently went to a university and spoke to some of the students and was saying some absolutely preposterous things. Just talking out the side of his neck, pandering to the crowd. And that's what we're going to be diving into a little bit today. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. And if he's pandering, I guess I can't really blame him too much, too, because he's got to pull out all the stops at this point. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. Let's dive in.
President Biden likes to portray himself as the uniter-in-chief, but he's catching a lot of flack over a very divisive commencement speech. Biden was addressing the graduating class at a historically black college, Howard University, and focusing a lot on race.
We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale, a harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. Enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us, to choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat, to stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
Wow. All right, I'll start with you, Martha.
And why were people clapping? Don't get that one. Don't really get that one. Bit baffling. My honest opinion is that there are a good number of folks in there who were eating it up, who were absolutely loving it. But then there were some folks in there, and actually I have a video to show you after this, so stick around. That's going to absolutely shock you. It's going to absolutely shock you. Because it shocked me when I saw it. But I feel like there was another group of individuals in there that knew the BS, but in the black community, I'll say this. in the black community, it's hard to stand up and say, you know what, I'm done with these Democrats. Because you get treated like, I can't even say that. I was going to say something, but YouTube wouldn't like me saying that too much, so I'm not going to say that part, but it's the truth. But YouTube wouldn't be having it. It's like you get treated like you have the plague. I told you guys about all the names and things that I've been called, you know. This, that, Uncle T, you know, the black and white animal that, you know, you see sometimes at night. Yeah, I'm not going to say the word because YouTube might mix up my words, you know what I mean? So I'm censoring myself here. You guys can probably guess what that word is. Bootlicker, you know, white lover, just all types of crazy stuff, you know? And some black people just don't want to rock the boat and have to face the music, so to speak. They just move in silence, you know? So I do think a portion of the crowd was that and just went along with it in the moment. But I think that needs to stop. That needs to stop. And, you know, I feel like that trend has started to change a little bit. I mean, I see black people all the time now standing up and saying, nah, bro, I'm not voting for Joe. I'm voting for Trump. You know, I see that all the time. So, and I brought you guys a lot of those videos. So, you know, I'm not lying. I've documented those. So, yeah, it still is just weird to hear people clapping, going along with BS. But anyway.
You know, Biden's approval rating right now among blacks is at 52%. When he first took office, I believe he was at 82%. So I suspect this race baiting nonsense that he's promoting is not doing him a service.
I think you're right. I mean, I think that there's been movement in the black vote over the last several presidential elections. I think that, you know, I think that most people in this country want to be treated, in the words of President Obama, as not a black America or a white America, but the United States of America. And it would be really nice to hear the president, who ran on a platform of uniting the country, really focus on that we have much more in common than what divides us, right? I mean, wouldn't that be, honestly, I think his poll numbers would go shooting higher if he took that kind of perspective and encouraged those individuals who were having that graduation ceremony. I commend all of them to embrace that in their lives as they move forward and, you know, urge excellence for everybody.
You know, Jesse, Biden didn't talk like this in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. In fact, it was just the opposite. Why all of a sudden is white supremacy the biggest threat when race relations have improved?
Because they've lied to people and they need people to be angry in order to go out and vote for them. Otherwise, they won't. I figured it out. Now, that's just my humble opinion. But y'all can let me know how you feel in the comment section.
Used to talk at Klan members' funerals, from what I remember. No, they're going to keep trying to divide us. This is a very good school. If you graduate from Howard University, you are going places. You are going to be working for white people, and white people are going to be working for you. So to have the president come there and feed them this stuff like they're victims of white supremacy is such a disappointment. And you know what the biggest domestic threat is to young black men in this country? Other young black men with guns. And that's the truth. And if you just talk raw numbers, you got health issues to worry about.
That is, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. And I've had that conversation with folks. Flat out. I've had that conversation with people who, you know, I won't necessarily call them racist, but they buy into the whole white supremacy thing. You know, white supremacy is a very, very prevalent and dangerous thing here in America. Yeah, I've spoken to some of those folks. Obviously, I'm not going to call them out or put them on Front Street or anything like that. My conversations are private. But I will talk about a little bit, you know, what I have, you know, some of the stuff that I say in those conversations. Obviously, I'll never reveal who those folks are. But I've said that. Nobody, because I've had conversations with several folks like that. Nobody could say anything back to me because they know it's the truth. You out here talking about white supremacy and white people this. Hey, be careful of the white man. Be careful of the white man. You just watch old boy get put in the pine box last week? Was that a white man that did it? Oh. Who shot him? It wasn't a white man. Matter of fact, who shot old boy, last year? Was that a white person? Oh. Sure wasn't. How many people that got put in pine boxes? 5? How many of those 5 got put in a pine box from a white person? They were all black people being put in pine boxes by other black people. So don't talk to me about no whites. That's bogus. That is a ghost. You are chasing a ghost. Are there some, terrible white people? Yeah, sure. There's terrible black people. There's terrible Mexicans. There's terrible Asians. There's terrible tall people, terrible short people, terrible skinny people, terrible fat people, all kinds of terrible people. It has nothing to do with your skin color or your size or your shape or whatever. Some people are terrible. But to just label, a group of people bad, like, come on, man, stop it with the nonsense. Stop it. Not buying it.
Coronavirus killed 1 million people. You got absent fathers, education issues.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a mass shooter who's a white supremacist a couple times a year. But in terms of the biggest threat to these very, very intelligent black people that have the world at their fingertips, this is not something I would be drilling into their heads. And this is something that proves that white supremacy is not what people think it is. They rank all of the ethnicities on income in this country. Indian Americans make $100,000 a year on average. Filipino Americans, Japanese Americans, Chinese Americans all make more money on average than white Americans.
Hey, some of these folks, man, be out here getting it. Hey, respect to all those folks, man. Respect to all those folks. A lot of the folks, that own some of these shops, I mean, they out here getting it. I salute those folks. Absolutely. Salute
Hispanic Americans make more money on average than African Americans. And it's all based on education. It's not white supremacy that's the determining factor. It's education.
Yeah. Facts. Jesse held nothing back. He dropped nothing but facts there. Absolutely nothing but facts. But I want to show you guys this video really quick. That was filmed at the speech Biden gave. Yeah, you'll be shocked. Check it out.
Stand up against the poison of white supremacy as I did my inaugural address to a single.
As you can see there, I'm not going to play that. I don't know if that music is copywritten or what. But it says, watch President Biden tells black graduates white supremacy is the biggest threat. And then you have a student here from Howard University holding up his cap. And on the top it says, Biden and Harris don't care about black people. Graduates disagree. And of course, I think he just continues on with his speech, whatever. But yeah, you could see the students literally standing up in the middle of Biden's speech and holding this up to the crowd. So everybody out here, out in the crowd can see, well, maybe not everybody, because, caps aren't the biggest things in the world. And I don't know how big, this area is that they're in. But everybody close can see it. Joe and, the administrators and whatever up there can't see what's going on. But, yeah, not everybody's buying the BS. And that's why I touched on that a little bit earlier, because I saw this and I was like, wow. A step in the right direction. I'll take it. Okay? I love seeing stuff like this. I love it. I love it because, like I've stated before, black people have voted Democrat at alarming rates. It's vote blue no matter who for a lot of black folks, especially black women, statistically. And it's time that we change that. It's time that we change that. There's no benefit to having that type of mindset. There is zero benefit. All that does is tell Democrats, hey, we can do whatever we want to, whenever we want to, because we know that you aren't going to do a thing about it. you know? And I mean, for obvious reasons, that's just detrimental. So I'm so happy, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are happy as well to see, all of you are happy as well to see this going the other direction. There might be a few, because I know I got some Democrats that watch that aren't happy about this. So yeah, love to see it. Love to see it. Love to see it. And you know, it's a shame that we are in this place when it comes to politics, because it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. It could simply be, you know, moderate left, moderate right, and not all this far leftist stuff. Like, they've just taken it just above and beyond on the left. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And they're always trying to point to the far right, where the far right is like this. Far left is like, you know, in terms of the number of people that support that, you know, like this on the right, but, you know, just absolutely mad. It's basically all of the left at this point. Not all, obviously, because, you know, like I said, we got some Democrats watching. I know that for a fact. But yeah, how are you guys feeling about this? I think it's a shame. It's you know, out here pandering for votes, in my humble opinion, and absolutely terrible and detrimental to the black community for the reasons that I spoke about before. And I'll touch on one, and I'll let you guys go. But, you know, one reason why this is detrimental and these Democrat speeches is very, very terrible for the black community is they take away hope for young black youth. When it's constantly drilled in your head that the white man's going to come and take what it is that you have, the white man's the bad man, the white man's going to tear you down. As soon as you start climbing the, you know, the corporate ladder, or the ladder of, you know, the success ladder, whatever you want to call it, the white man's going to come tear you down. The white man, the white man, the white man. Well, what does that tell a young black kid? It tells them I shouldn't even try, because the white man is going to come and take it from me. What's the point in trying? Even if I do make it somewhere, the white man's going to come find a way to take it from me. I'm not going to put in all this work just for somebody to come take it. But I think that's intentional. Give a man a fish and he'll always be dependent upon you. But if you teach him how to fish, see what I'm getting at? Just saying. That's just my humble opinion. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, sharing your time with me. Thank you guys so much, all right? Also, if you like funny type of content, a different style of content, follow me on Instagram. Link is down below. Peace and love. I'm out.